Doesn't this chicken look juicy and tender? And oh my, wow. Wouldn't you like to taste a piece of this chicken? Wouldn't you like to taste a piece of this chicken? Well, all you have to do is watch all of this video and follow what I did. And that's how you would know how to make my lemon pepper surprise chicken. There's always a surprise. Today I'm making my famous or my favorite fried chicken wings. So now I'm preparing it. I'm using about a quarter cup of vinegar. In Japan we have rice vinegar, so I'm using that to wash it, and some water. Wash, 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 wash. This is all it is. This is all it takes to wash chicken. Wash it in some vinegar water and pour off the water. And wash it again. Now for the seasonings. So I'm making lemon pepper fried chicken. So I just have a lemon pepper sauce seasoning and my regular all-purpose seasoning, and that's it. So I'm gonna put about 1 tablespoon. We really rarely measure our things, honestly. Really rarely measure. It's just by look. So this is about 2 tablespoons of the lemon pepper. And I'm gonna put about 1 tablespoon of the regular seasoning. And again, these things come with salt, so you really don't need to add any extra salt to your food. No extra salt. No extra salt. This is it. This is it. So what I'm going to do now is just leave this to marinate for a couple hours. And it's a couple hours because it's now morning and I'm cooking this for my dinner. So when I'm ready to fry it, then I'll get back to it. So I'll just leave it to marinate for a couple of hours. Okay, so if you're like me and you don't like cleaning, the best thing to use to make your sauce, to make your coating, is a bag. So I have a bag, nice clear bag, to which I will add about half a cup of flour. And you add your flour based on the amount of chicken you have or the amount of whatever you're doing. So half a cup of flour. Alright, so I'm making lemon pepper chicken, so I'm adding some more lemon pepper seasoning to my flour. I like my food spicy, so I'm adding some red chili pepper. If you don't want the chili pepper in yours, you don't have to, but it really, you know, add extra spice. I'm also going to add some more all-purpose seasoning. So enough all-purpose seasoning, and then you just mix it up, or you just shake up the bag, and that's good enough. I don't like my chicken with a lot of thick coating. A lot of people like the thick coating, so they put flour, then they put egg, then they put breadcrumbs, then they put more flour. I've tried those, and honestly, I don't like the amount of fluff or crunch. I actually just like a slight coating and then my chicken. So I'm adding as much chicken as I can put in this bag, And then I'm just going to shake it up. Well, 8 pieces can fit in my pot at a time, so I'm just going to put about 8 pieces in the bag. Shake it up, 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 and it's done. When you're going to put it in the oil, you just shake it up. So that's it. It's a very thin coat. For me, it's very thin. And I don't have a problem with that. That's actually enough for me. I don't like the thick coating. I don't like the KFC-like crunch. I don't. I just like it simple and tender. Enough to actually hold the sauce that I'll be putting on it afterwards. Alright, so I believe in deep frying stuff. It really does give you a better output if you deep fry stuff. So I'm basically preparing the oil, and I'm putting enough oil to cover the chicken. And because my pot is so small, I will be doing about half. About half of the oil will go in the pot. Right? It is important that the oil gets really, really hot. When the oil gets really, really hot, then you put the chicken in it. But also it's important to turn down the oil. So when the oil is really hot, you turn it down, you get it back to a lower temperature, a medium temperature, low to medium temperature, and then you put the chicken in. So get the oil hot first before you start whatever you're doing. And if you realize that you haven't added enough oil in the first place, you can always go ahead and add more oil. The more chicken I add to the pot, the more the oil rises. So it will become high enough to do what it's supposed to do. So you don't have to worry about the height initially. So all my chicken are submerged. All the pieces are submerged, and as I say, I like deep fat frying, so they're there, and I'll fry it for about 10 minutes. And then I'll take it out. But you know your chicken is finished when the blood has all drained from the bone. And if I can, I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm just checking on the progress of the chicken to see the color, to see how it's turning out. I like what I'm seeing. This dark spot that you see on this chicken, that is an indication that the blood is draining from the bone. So as soon as all the chicken have acquired that spot, and then the spot becomes brown, then you know that your chicken is finished. Usually that takes about 10 minutes when it's being deep fried. When you're doing shallow fry, I'm not sure how long that takes. Alright, so that has been 10 minutes. I've been checking on it in the meantime. So this is what it looks like. Alright, and I've prepared a bowl with napkin so that the excess oil can be drained before I add the sauce. Frying food is always a high calorie food, so the more you can to get rid of the oil, the better. And I'm sure you can see my little coating. It's coated. And that's enough for me. That's usually enough for me. You know, I really don't like the KFC, like the very thick. What I find is that whenever you buy anything fried, you have a thick coating of whatever they have on it, and the meat is so small. That is very upsetting for me. So one of the things I hate is thick coating. So mine is usually very thin. Once you move past the crunch, you're at the meat. You know, you don't bite into crunch and then bite into more crunch and can't find the meat. That's not what I do. So alright, that's the first set. So now I'm going to just add the second set. second batch is finished, and because I'm OCD-ish and I want as much oil to drain as possible, I decided to put another napkin over the ones that were already done for draining purposes. So, you know, oil is not really good for you. So you just need to take as much precaution as possible. But we know that this fried chicken life is one of the best chicken life there is. Oh boy. So this recipe is not an invention of mine, or the principle of making this kind of chicken is not an invention of mine. You know, I learned chicken like this when I was growing up with my family, and I'm sure they learned it from somewhere. The only thing that I'm doing differently is maybe my sauce or whatever I'm putting on the chicken, because my family never used to make lemon pepper chicken, you know, just fried chicken, and they never use the deep fat remedy. They probably use the shallow one, and shallow means all the meat or whatever you're frying isn't covered, so you have to turn it on both sides for it to be cooked properly. So while this is soaking, I'm basically, do you like it? I love the color. They're so golden. Yeah, so while this is soaking, I'm just gonna get my sauce ready. Yeah, for my fried chicken. We'll be back. All right, so this next step, I didn't learn it from anyone. I just decided that, you know, it's something I wanted to try. So the first thing I do is add some more of my lemon pepper seasoning, because my chicken is lemon pepper chicken. And I kind of roast this in the hot pot. Right, the pot is already very hot, so I kind of roast it until the color changes to a darker complexion of what it was before, and then I add some Japanese sake. One of the important things to remember for me in terms of sauce making is that you don't use water in your recipe. When you're making sauces for barbecues or so, I don't recommend the use of water at all. So my final ingredient, my barbecue sauce, you know, so I'm just mixing this up. This is too thick for the chicken at the moment, so I'm just gonna add a little more of my sake. Right? The worst thing to add to your barbecue sauce is water. If you want more pepper at this time, I recommend that you add it, and I will definitely add some pepper. So you notice how my sauce is a little more runny than it's runnier than it was before. So I'm gonna add some pepper. Boy. And as usually, add those things to your liking. So that's my pepper. I do have a little sorrel sauce that I had from Jamaica for a while, and I like this kind of thing in my sauces as well, so I'm just going to add some of that sauce. Just, I don't know for what reason, but you know, I like mix up and blender. I like different flavors, I like different scents. I'm just trying something. Since I have the sauce, I'm just adding it. I don't usually taste this sauce, but I want to know if I need to add more pepper or not, so I'm just gonna do a quick. Pepper level is fine, but I think it needs a little salt, so I'm just going to add some of my all-purpose seasoning to this. Stir it. And again, if it gets too thick, don't add water. You can add pineapple juice, you can add so many different things, but water, do not add water. Alright, so that's that. And then I will add the chicken one by one, and then turn it. And that's it. I'm not cooking down the chicken in the sauce. I'm not doing that. If I was at home and I had my oven, I would just dip it and then kind of bake it for a little in the oven. But I don't have that, so I'm using what I have, and I usually just use my pot, and I just turn the chicken around until all parts of the chicken is properly coated. And yeah, that's it. That's it. It started out as lemon pepper chicken, but I also added some sorrel seasoning, and you know, the lemon pepper, because I did that roasting of the lemon pepper thing. I find that this taste of the lemon pepper is still strong in the chicken, so it always tastes like lemon pepper chicken. All right. Right now, let me turn down the stove because it's clear that the sauce is evaporating quicker than I can move. All right, so turn the chicken. Make sure that everybody have enough sauce. And yeah, that's you right there. That's you right there. In this case, when I feel like I was moving too slow, what I do is I add a little more of my sake or whatever liquid I'm using, put it in the center, and just, you know, kind of ensure that the chicken getting the sauces everywhere. So yeah, that's basically it for my fried chicken and sauce. And the center usually has, I don't know why the center of the pots always have a kind of indentation, so it's good to go back to the center to get what you want. Yep. So this is basically my chicken.